Let's get started here. I have here another natural gold analysis here to conduct, and we're going to continue on here. One of the things that I'm really very interested in is when we do a scan and then we do a control scan, is that we are able to almost replicate the previous scan. If we cannot replicate it or duplicate it or make it as almost identical as possible, then we have to repeat it. As a user, I take a look at the scan and give you some examples here. If I'm moving along over here and I see this area here and I see this area here, but then I see this here, where did I get this signal? Here I have a couple of large signals, but I have almost nothing over here. I'm not saying it's bad. One of the items I did notice in here, okay, is just as a very small comparable here to take a look at. Take a look at this right here. This is something to consider. But I am not seeing it here. Why is it not here? So as I'm trying to come around here and say, well, I don't see this here and here, I want to go back and forth and say, well, you know, it could be, it could not be. That's a really difficult one to say. So if I don't see this here, now I'm going, what is this? This is hard to tell. Moving over here on the side here, I'm not seeing anything here that's really interesting. I am going to continue on to the next scan here. So that was number 818. Now I'm going to be down to number 0822. Moving on 0822, this scan is much better. Take a look. I can actually see this area over here, and I can say, wow, this area over here, I have a possible here ferromagnetic target or something to that effect, and I can now continue on scanning. So let me move on down the line. I'm moving over here. I am moving over here. I'm not really seeing very much. I do have a request. I would like to see this one area over here. I would like this area here repeated, please, including this area up here. These are two areas here where I'm finding this is of interest. I would be interested in seeing this, and I'd like to see it repeated. We can call this 822 further scan. Up here at the beginning, I really don't have very much here to say. At this point here, this is fairly, looks like normal ground without really any other type of things. It's just normal ground. That was 822. Moving on to 842. At 842, here we have the symbol of a ferromagnetic target. This right here is telling me it's ferromagnetic because I have a red and a blue very strong right next to each other. This is going to decipher off as more as a ferromagnetic. Let's continue on down the line, starting from the beginning. I am looking for our hits in a hit. I'm looking at this right here and going, wow, what is that? What is this here? I'm interested. I don't know what it is, but I'm not seeing it here. So over here, I have one big question mark. All right, let's leave that as a question mark. I'd like to see, or you'd like to see more details on that. Moving over here down the line, not really much interesting. So continuing on, let's continue on here. That was number 842, now is 914. This is a really nice looking scan over here, and I want to see more of this. We have two nice downs, okay, which means this is a good negative that we're encroaching on. I'm not seeing anything here, but this right here, I want to say, show me something. Show me something on this right here. Let's do this again, even though I'm not seeing it here. Unfortunately, I don't see it here, but I see it here. And this is a control scan. Let's do this one again because this one is leaving a really big question mark. Okay, this is a big question mark that I have here. So let's do this one again. Gonna be an interesting one. Let's see what we have. That was number 914. Let's continue on down the line here to 917. And as I'm looking at 917, I think our start point was a little bit off. Very important to have the same start and stopping points because me sitting several thousand kilometers away makes it difficult for me to come in here and say, oh, yes, this is, or no, this is not. I'm moving on down the line. I am not seeing anything within this scan on the top. Moving to the bottom, I am seeing indications that there might be something. I'm going to say overall 917. Let's repeat the whole scan because that's one of those I'm a little bit don't know. Moving on here, 1002. At 1002, I have our first signal here. Very strong signal. What I'd like to see here on this signal, and we can just be very realistic about this here, is I want to see this half of the scan here just completely repeated. But I want this part over here repeated, not the beginning. Okay, I don't want to see this part here because this signal is too strong. I'm not getting enough over here. Okay, so when the signal is so strong, it diminishes all these others and I can't see them. I am guessing right over here, we may have something, but it's hard to say. So please, 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 let's go and repeat 1002, but leave the first part out of it. Thank you. On our next one is 1004. And as an example here, let me go back to 1002. Do you see how this is pretty much here very small signals when this is out? As I'm coming in here into 1004, when the very strong signals are out, I have a much better signal here and I can get a lot more data in order to see it because I'm looking for this hit in a hit. And this hit in a hit is going to be a very small signal. So when I have big signal in the area that is hiding it, it's not visible. So it's real helpful when I can see this. I am looking at this here, but I don't see anything here. So I'm going to negate that. Moving over here down the signal here, I don't see very, very much over here. Again, I'm stuck between, well, what is this and what is this? But I'm not getting enough data. I'm going to say on this one here, I am going to negate it. If this were to be repeated, I would see this one here. I'd like to see again. So it looks more like that this down here looks more like that up there. Let's move on down the line. That was 1004. And now is 2013. 2013, I have a lot of really good data. And this one here, I want to come in here and just make this real simple here. And let me just come over here. If I'm looking at this area, wait a minute, I have clicked on the wrong object here. Let me go and click here correctly so that I can get my drawing tool. I don't know why it doesn't want to play with me today. Horrible thing sometimes. But let's see. If not, I'm just going to, there we go, I have it again. Let me back up here. So coming into this area right here, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. These here are looking very inviting. Please repeat because this here is almost a hit and a hit, almost. When it's so close, let's repeat it to make sure that we're getting something interesting from it. Moving on down the line, again, we have this big strong signal here, this signal here. Okay, and this one here, this makes it so that I am not getting a full picture of the top. This over here is caused by when I start. I push the button and immediately I am swinging the instrument. So we have to try to avoid that as a general rule. But for the most part, you're doing really well here, and the data coming in is much, much better. Moving on down the line, that was 2013. Coming to our last one, which is 2021. Here we are talking exactly about, here's this really strong signal again, and this signal is taking up all of our attention. But I am not seeing the small signals in between because of this one signal. When we have this, let's try to avoid this area the next time it is repeatable. We'll need to mark out this is where it is, this is how far along the line we are, and repeat the scan, leaving this part out so I have a better picture over here. All right, that's my analysis for today here on this. I'm going to wish you good luck. Please forward the other information on to me, and I will continue on with the analysis. All right, thank you very much. This is Frank, and if you are not the intended person, but you are using also the OKM equipment and want to see more scans, or you have scans, you can send them on to me right here through this YouTube channel. You can send it off, and I will be glad to help you with the analysis. We do have a Patreon, and I am looking for likes and clicks and subscribes and all the other fun stuff. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye now.